Now, let's turn to a story about a designer who's won an award for transforming prawn shells into plant pots. It seems improbable. Prawn shells, though, actually make up more than 8 million tonnes of landfill waste every year, and 500 million plastic pots are thrown away in the UK alone. So that led to one designer to take action by transforming the waste into something a bit more useful. Rhea Thomas turns that prawn waste into fertilising seed trays. And the Arts Foundation think the idea is quite a catch. It's given her a Futures Awards Fellowship. And I'm delighted to say we can talk to Rhea now. Rhea, thank you for speaking to us on The World Today. I honestly, until today, until I read about this, I had no idea that prawn shell waste was such a big thing. But you obviously did.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, it's been incredible being recognized by the Arts Foundation for the work that I do. And surprisingly, prawn shell waste is a huge, it's being massively consumed, and there's like a huge weight. Almost 60% of the prawn is discarded. So it's almost like 8 million to 15 billion tons of it that gets discarded every year. And while I was in Japan, I realized this while doing my thesis, that there's a lot more consumed than it's actually being produced, and that's kind of where the idea started from.
We're seeing these brilliant pictures as you're speaking to us of your invention, but talk me a little bit through your thought process, because for most people it's really hard to think about what to do with waste. So how did you begin to dream up something to turn it into?
So I come from a coastal community back in India, so I'm like used to seeing seafood every day and consuming it. And it really only hit me when I started my master's at the Royal College of Art and Imperial College London in Global Innovation Design, where I went to Japan, and then I started looking at all the waste and being cognizant of it. And then during my course at Pratt Institute with biomaterials, where they taught us how to work with nature and natural elements to create new materials, did I come across the prawn shells and see the potential that it holds.
Yeah.
So I started with chitin, which is a sugar extracted, and then started from looking at when you use the prawn shell as a whole, what can be done with it. And using a symbiotic approach came upon the prawn pots and the lining trays for it.
And just quickly tell me, how much better do plants grow in these feeding trays? Does it really help them?
So a lot of the prawn shell is basically just proteins, chitin, and these plants would otherwise be in plastic bags, which doesn't really help the plant in any way, and it's just adding to the plastic crisis. So whereas this breaks down in the soil, acting as plant fertilizer, so it's actually helping the plant grow in the process rather than just being waste, and you're utilizing a waste material in the process as well.
Rhea is really clever. Thank you for telling us about it. And well done on your fellowship as well, Rhea Thomas, who turns those prawn shells, as we were seeing there, into these brilliant feeding pots for plants.